What is going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. This is Darian with Darian the Dev, and in this video I want to talk to you guys about a few productivity tips that can help you become a better software developer. These are just things that I have personally implemented in my life, and I've seen the direct impact and effect on how much I was able to grow and learn as a developer. One of my first tips for productivity as a newer software developer is to use a time management app and actually time yourself when you are coding. Because what I found was that after doing that for 2-3 weeks, 5-6 weeks, 3 months, when you look back, you can see, whoa, for the last 3 months, I've been averaging maybe 8 hours a week in my free time just learning how to code. I've continued to be dedicated. Or I might notice that I'm spending more time on Fridays learning code than I am on Mondays, or I'm spending more time on the weekends than I am throughout the week, or whatever the case may be. It's just very insightful to see and to remind yourself, because sometimes I think imposter syndrome is such a thing, and it's such a prominent feeling that people can feel when they're learning something new, especially in a career transition, that it's hard to really give yourself the credit that you deserve. And even in boot camp, you know that you're spending, maybe 9 hours a day doing code. However, when you don't make the progress that you want to make as quickly as you would like to make it, it can be really, really easy to let imposter syndrome creep in and not allow you to validate that you've been learning, that you've been growing, that you're getting better as a developer. And so having the time actually tracked inside of a time app really allows you to ignore that imposter syndrome by reassuring yourself with facts of how much time, down to the minute, the hours of whatever days that week, to actually show you just how dedicated you've been, to actually show just how much time you've spent. So yeah, so my number one tip is download some sort of timekeeping app and time yourself while you code, or do anything else for that matter, because then that allows you to compare. So if you work out and you time yourself while you work out, then you can see how much time you spend working out compared to how much time you spend coding. If you play video games, time yourself playing video games, and then maybe you can see how much time you spend playing video games versus how much time you spend learning to code. So this can work for so many different areas of your life, guys, but I think that it's super, super helpful in just reminding you of how much time and effort you've actually spent and put into something to help keep you motivated and to knock that imposter syndrome off you when it starts to feel a little bit overwhelming sometimes. The next tip is probably not going to be a stranger to anybody, but it's going to be to minimize social media use. And so I know that one can be a little bit difficult sometimes, because social media is how a lot of people today keep in touch with family and friends, and maybe sometimes even news and world events and things like that. So I understand completely how relevant social media is to our lives, especially being a millennial myself. However, guys, I would just challenge you to consider how much meaningful time you actually spend on social media. And what I mean by meaningful is how much of that time is being applied towards something that you truly are passionate about, or something that you truly care about, or how much of that time spent on social media is actually developing you as a person or making you a better individual. And when you put it into that perspective versus how much time you just completely spend on social media doing things that might be considered, kind of irrelevant or not really important, then it becomes a lot less necessary to have so much interaction with social media. Being on social media definitely adds up in a time perspective, and if you look at what you end up doing in that time, it's usually not the most productive thing. So minimizing social media, I think, is a really great way to create more time in your schedule to either learn code, study code, or to just fill that time you spend on social media collectively with something better. Even if it's personal development like reading books or working out, I think that still is a better use of time than social media. So that is tip number 2. Tip number 3, doing HackerRank problems. So I know that it might not seem like a good idea to try to challenge yourself with HackerRank or anything that's kind of made for people who already know how to code a little bit, but on HackerRank, there's a lot of challenges that will come up either in a coding bootcamp or in a job interview or in a technical interview. So I would highly recommend that as soon as you start to grasp the basics of programming, keeping yourself challenged with things like HackerRank problems, I think is a really great way to practice repetition and thinking logically as a programmer and getting used to being presented with problems that you're going to be facing with code. And so what I mean by that is on HackerRank, they actually have problems that are broken down into easy, medium, and hard. And so no matter what language you decide to begin learning first, I would say go on HackerRank and try to solve some of the easier problems first, because it gives you a very small, focused project that also is going to encourage you to use best practices of computer science. It's going to allow you to really know or learn the ins and outs of your particular programming language, and it will not take as much time as going after a full-fledged project necessarily, but it will help you build those repetitions that will help give you confidence, that will give you a lot of realistic real-world application and practice of the language you're learning. And so for that reason, I think that using free resources like HackerRank, Stack Overflow, CodePen, Udemy, and Reddit, Threads, or even Discord, like anywhere where you can get into a community, talk to people, ask advice, read people's stories, read their mistakes, ask questions, get answers, anything you can find on the web where you can communicate with other people who might be at the same level as you and going through the similar things or the same things as you. Get involved in those communities and build yourself a support system and a network to make it through this journey on your way to landing your first job as a developer. So this video, guys, was just personal productivity tips that will help you become a better software developer. I really hope that this kind of helps you guys or points somebody in the right direction. Please leave me a comment down below. Leave me a like, share, subscribe if you guys enjoyed this content. It really helps me stay motivated to keep pushing videos out for you guys. Again, I'm Darian. This is Darian the Dev. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.